So, today we're going to be talking about firearms you might want to purchase for the end of the world, the shift, whatever you want to call it. I'm here with my buddy AJ. AJ is another gun guy like me, and we have slightly different tastes, but it's going to be interesting to see. We also have a guest appearance from someone who's very special.
Who could that be?
You don't know? I didn't tell you?
Who's coming through?
Oh, man. We have Mr. John Wick, Mr. Keanu.
The Baba Yaga himself.
The Baba Yaga. Anyways, we know his fascination with the Austrian, so maybe we can change his mind here. What do you think?
Probably not.
Probably not.
He's right.
All right, so since we started with John Wick, we'll start with the Glock 34.
Right into it. All right, so we got the Glock 34. As you know, everything we have on the table is clear, but just so you know.
Glock 34 takes a Glock 17 mag. Ergonomics, I don't like the Glocks just simply because the hand angle's a little back. That's a Gen 3. We've had the knuckle bumps removed and re-stippled. How do you like the Glock 34?
I figure on a competition course, this would probably be one of the better ones because you get that long purchase on your muzzle. You can kind of control the muzzle a lot better. But as far as carry into the world,
dude, John Wick. John Wick.
Who also trains with Terran Tactical.
Yeah.
Who also shout out to Terran Tactical. Who also competition shooter.
Okay, all right.
Not many shots being fired back.
You mean you're not going to have something tailor-made for you?
Not very covert, so that's why it's kind of off my list, but a respectable gun. I see you did a couple of slide modifications to this bad boy.
Yeah, I need to put some other stuff on there, but I lost interest. The trigger didn't come out nice. That's part of the problem I have with any Glocks is the triggers.
Which is a very true statement.
So, kind of comparable is the Sig M17. That is what the military uses. I prefer the Sig lineup myself. What's your take?
I think that's probably one of the smoothest slides I've felt. Stock?
Nothing done.
One of the smoothest firearms I've felt for slide-wise. I love that action. Feels like it came straight from the store.
Feel the trigger?
Let's see. Okay, you know what? It feels like a modified Glock trigger.
But that's stock.
Yeah. This is what you want to get a Glock to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's with $200 to $300 to maybe $400 worth of work already to get that nice crisp wall break. This one's got a straight clean break. I dig that a lot.
I really like the M17. They won the contract for the U.S. Army.
You mean the Army doesn't use Glocks?
Nope.
They should.
Moving along, we have a Glock 17.
Glock 17.
Used by most law enforcement agencies, still chambered in 9mm. Takes the same magazine as the Glock 34. What's your take?
I mean, again, as far as utility-wise, you can't go wrong with the Glock because, as you said, law enforcement is going to have them, and in a apocalyptic rule of law gone out the window kind of thing, you're going to want to find something that maybe you can get parts from or maybe even find out there. There's going to be lots of crashed police cars all over the place.
Okay.
I think it's the Glock is the #1 gun that people buy.
Well,
in North America, maybe.
Yeah. We'll move on to facts here in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So the M18 that won the contract. That's this guy.
Okay.
Won the contract for the Marines. That's what the U.S. Marines use. Check it out.
Still a smooth slide, not as smooth as the last previous Sig we played with, but let's see that trigger. Still pretty good. And it gives me the feeling that, why can't Glocks be like this straight from the store?
Okay.
I like the size of it though. That's a very good size.
Moving very similar to the Glock 43X. 43X was Glock's entry into the military contest, and they lost. The one thing I will say about the 43X is they put their AmeriGlow sights on it, so it comes from the factory with AmeriGlow sights. You can still run the Glock 17 mags. Feel the trigger. I mean, that's factory. The 17 and the 19X are factory.
Still a pretty good trigger for a Glock. I felt worse.
Try this.
I felt worse. That's the thing. They're like Cracker Jack. You don't never know what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get with the Glock. Here's the thing. This video is over because you should get a 19X. There you go.
What? Moving along.
Or is it that I want a 19X?
As AJ goes to his vehicle to get his crack pipe.
Or is it that I want a 19X?
Okay, this is kind of unfair because that is a Sig 320 on it, done by Zev. So it's kind of an unfair comparison.
This is unobtainium right here.
That is a very expensive Sig.
But does it run?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what you got to think about when you get those revved up, Zev teched out. They're sweet and they're awesome, but how durable is this? And is this going to run in a apocalypse kind of situation? Where the hell do I get parts for this? Space? Elon? Is this
The thing I don't like about the Zev for the money is you have no back sights, no dots marking your back sights.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate fiber optic sights. They just don't work. In my experience, they fall out. So, but that's kind of like one of those super high dollar, gotta have it deals.
Yeah, I mean, that optic is kind of strange. It's a flat wall. I mean, I don't, I gotta try to find it. I myself am cross-eyed dominant, so I have to kind of present a little bit to the side, and it's kind of weird to find it between that. No sights in the back. It's just kind of not the best. Also, you prove the point. Apocalypse, if that bad boy falls out.
Yeah. Well, I think their intention was to run a red dot. I'm not a big fan of red dots. So.
But if that falls out, you're back to Kentucky.
You know how I am with guns, so.
Trigger's not too bad. Not a fan of the flat trigger, but that's just me.
I happen to really like flat triggers.
Well, I don't think flat triggers grow in the wild.
I think they do. That's the venison.
Okay. Got
so because we have the high dollar Sig, its competitor is a super high dollar Glock. I don't want to tell you how much money I have into this Glock, but it's stupid dumb. I know you're a fan of the 19X. I know that's your preferred weapon.
How much do you think you're in here? Just ballpark. Just tell the people.
I can tell you exact money, 24. Keep in mind, Cerakote, the stippling. One thing Glock doesn't do and Sig doesn't do that drives me nuts is they don't put any stippling on your accelerator cuts, which is a nice landmark to know where you're landing. So I had the accelerator cuts put in. I actually had stippling put on the front of the trigger guard. So I kind of built that Glock for just because it was a neat project.
How you like this Hollow Sun?
The Hollow Sun 507C runs pretty good. I'm not a Trigicon fan, so to say. I like that it's solar. The battery's not in it. So it's got if it doesn't have a battery in it, forever life. But it also co-witnesses with the sights.
That's just going to actually does co-witness.
Yeah. And I got the Circle of Death in there.
You sure the battery's not in here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the battery's in.
If
If it's in, I didn't put it in.
It's a ghost gun.
No, those are bad. Moving along.
We don't approve of those.
Moving along, the Sig P 365, the #1 selling gun in the United States for the last 3 years.
3 years.
Last 3 years.
Before all that.
#1 selling
we know
gun.
it was #1, but
that is my personal favorite, my everyday carry. I love that gun. Once again, I wish they would have stippled the accelerator cuts and actually brought the stippling higher up into the grip. That's where the Zev is kind of better than the 320s.
So, I have some experience with these. P365, I dig them, but guess what? I can't use the sights. They're not very good for me. I don't know if it's my eyeballs, but
It's your natural. I know the problem. It's your natural point of aim.
I shoot low.
Well, you're used to a Glock, which has a more laid back
Mhm.
grip.
Mm-hmm.
So that was going to get into the second part. So remember that.
Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll circle back to that.
Circle back.
Again, nothing wrong with the 365. I would rock one under situations where you're maybe not supposed to carry. Not telling you to break the law, but
Do we have a Holly Berry poster? Because she ran a 365 in John Wick 3.
ooh, we're gonna need some. Can we bring your dots in here so we can kind of reenact the whole thing?
Okay, moving along. One of my personal favorites. This is the CZ P10C.
P10C.
I love that gun. Cajun Gunworks trigger had a stainless guide rod put in. We actually have 2 of this, one stock, one tritium night sights, the Trigicon night sights. That gun just functions. We have thousands of rounds through that gun, and it just keeps running. What's your take?
It was my first choice before I got a Glock.
Was it?
It was supposed to be the Glock killer.
Okay.
Basically, it was just a lot of YouTube videos saying that we should be getting this. And now that the algorithm has died down, I came to my senses and got a Glock, though.
Okay.
Not much modularity comes with these. You kind of get what you get.
You died.
I'm at a 20-minute thing.
Moving along, I put this one on the table because women. So women are typically a little thinner structured. They typically have more petite wrists. And Smith & Wesson knocked it out of the park with this one. This is the Easy 9, Shield Easy 9. That is rock solid for people with hand problems. It's just a very well thought out gun. This particular model has the thumb safety. Works really well. My wife shoots this quite a bit. What do you think?
Is this one California legal? I know that M&P is big in California because a lot of people can only get a shield out there. But is this another option that they could possibly get there?
So the disadvantage of that is, yes, it is California legal because it is a single stack 8-round magazine. That is a negative. One of the positives is right there where your thumbs are, you have these little slides so you can actually pull those down and load your magazine. So it's very thought out for people with hand problems.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with semi-automatics is if you don't have strong wrists, it's called limp wristing, and it basically just doesn't cycle when you fire. Mm. So they've eliminated that, and that is a very strong firearm for people with hand problems.
It looks like there are about 17 safeties on this. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but I feel like there's a safety I'm not hitting.
Okay. Right there.
There we go. We got it. Moving on.
Moving on. My favorite gun for the gun apocalypse. The 1911. I know, John. I know you can't have this one. This one right here was
Two
actually,
World Wars!
that was actually a very good friend of mine who no longer owns it, and it is now mine. It's kind of special, so I've had some work done to it. It's just a Kimber 1911, 8 rounds of really big bullets. Once again, it has the same safeties as the Smith & Wesson.
And you know, as they say, 2 World Wars.
2.
And since it's the apocalypse, 3 World Wars!
So my argument is, if you have a really good trigger, you only need 1 round. And what better big round than a 45 ACP measuring in at .45, where the 9mm is .355.
You know, they say some of the ballistics that those higher pressure rounds put out now are comparable to a 45.
Yes, but you still have size.
But there's a whole thing about velocity versus size versus...
Sugar Ray Leonard's going to hit you and it's going to hurt. Mike Tyson's going to hit you and it's really going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather get hit by Sugar Ray 3 times than Mike Tyson once.
True. But if you're going to be...
I'm just a 1911 fan.
If you're going to be apocalypse style, I want something that I could find more often.
Yeah.
And what is that? As we all know from the shortages of ammo that we just went through on the last 2 years, that we won't call it unknown specifies something. We could say that maybe 9mm was probably the most sought after thing.
It's most readily available too.
That means there's a lot of it out there.
Yeah, and so that comes back to a couple of different points. When making a firearm selection, okay, grip angle, what fits your hand? These guns here on the table might not fit your hand. Find something that fits. Stay away from high point. When you come up on it, your natural aim, when you push out, your natural point of aim, where's your natural point of aim? If your natural point of aim is down and you got to bring your front sight up, that's the wrong firearm for you. That's why I don't like the Glocks. Where AJ said earlier that his eye doesn't go to the Sig, so the grip angle, which is more up and down, is, you know, he likes that laid back grip. The other thing to mention is women can usually get to the mag releases on the Sigs, and they've got to rotate their hand out on the Glocks.
I would like to see some science tested on that one.
It's been tested in the Batcave many times. The Glock is the AK-47. It always runs. It's not very accurate, but it always runs. It's hard to argue that Glocks function. Mud, guts, sand, whatever, it handles it.
Yeah.
But, with that being said, the military went with Sig.
That's because the Sig is probably cutting them a crafty deal.
Also, too, the Sig comes with night sights, optics ready.
All can be bought off Amazon.
Hold on. You're giving Jeff Bezos a plug? Really? Comes with night sights.
Use the affiliate links for anything that we talk about today.
Comes with night sights, optics ready. You don't have to send slides up to get cut. You don't have to find the pesky MOS. Way better triggers.
It's funny you say that, because we have another guest star appearance. My everyday is the Glock MOS. So everything you said, minus the night sights, I already got cuts to get any kind of optic that I come up on. So I've done a couple of things to this one, and I do believe it operates close to what you got right here.
Okay, so how much money do you have in that one?
Honestly, from what I do to the box, I probably only have, like, I swear, only $200 to $300 inside of it.
So the gun was $529, $549?
No, MOS is more. It's
like
$7
something. Yeah. All right, so you're in that $900, right?
Yeah.
$609.
I would have another counter for that, but That all's about the pocketbook. So yeah, you win. I'll give you that one. Oh, don't leave me hanging.
I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I thought the price tag might be better. The Glock's not better.
Either way, 45 9mm. That's an old complaint. That's as old as what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like, what's better, 9mm or 45? A whole bunch of one thing or 8 of one thing. They're both gonna hurt either way. So I would think in that situation you probably need something else.
Well, none of them go through AR 500 plate.
That's
This stops pretty much everything. We have it at our website, survivebettertogether.com, and you can find everything you need there, from trauma pads and all your survival needs. But so you're still gonna go with the 19.
I'm telling you, man. I'm going to be able to find these out in the wild. And if I want to get crazy, I do believe that if I take the slide off of my Glock and I was able to find the full-size Glock, that they marry to each other.
If it is a Gen 5.
But there's still modularity out there.
So, in you know what, Glocks are Glock magazines are dime a dozen. They're cheap, $22, $49. There's some huge things to be said about Glock. I just don't shoot them well. I shoot 1911s very well. I shot a lot of competition with a 1911.
One-handed blindfolded.
No, not at all. Not at all. Both eyes open. 2 World Wars. But whatever you decide, you need to decide. Don't let YouTube tell you what. Don't let the gun store guy tell you. Go around, pick up every gun, verify that it's safe, and then go out and get training and practice. Because if you're not practicing and you didn't get training, you're gonna die.
Yeah, get fit. Go for a walk with your Glock. And if you want to find some more training or ideas or anything you can think about survival, go to the website, survivebettertogether.com.